Well, the two sides have accused each other of breaching diplomatic protocol. India has accused Pakistani diplomats of espionage and maintaining contacts with terrorist groups. And of course, last week we saw Pakistan expel Indian diplomats who were involved in a road accident and then were accused of carrying a counterfeit currency, which is of course against the law, and and ordered the expulsion of these Indian diplomats. But it is also alleged that before doing so, these Indian diplomats were mistreated and possibly even tortured. At least that's the Indian allegation. So
Mm.
really what we've seen just in the last week to 10 days has been a very sharp deterioration in an already sort of worsening situation between the two countries.
Yes, it would seem as if this sort of diplomatic stoush is masking a relationship that has really fallen out of favour and perhaps has peaked during that security crackdown by India in Kashmir, which was something of a low point. Why do you think relations have deteriorated so badly?
Well, I think, we have to see what's happening between India and Pakistan against an increasingly complicated security situation in the region. As we all know, India has been involved in pretty fierce clashes with China in the Kashmiri region of Ladakh, with both countries accusing each other of encroaching on each other's territory. And there was a heavy loss of life on the Indian side, more than 20 soldiers killed, and an unspecified number killed on the Chinese side, which has today been confirmed. And so we have that sort of tense situation between these two major regional rivals, but we've also got a very tense situation between India and its much smaller neighbor, Nepal, again over a dispute concerning common and undemarcated or improperly demarcated boundaries. And really what we've got here is a situation where India has accused China of using smaller powers in the region as proxies to wage war against India. And of course, Pakistan is China's long-standing, long-weather, all-weather friend. And the impression from India is that Pakistan has played along with China's game in the region. There is a sense of quiet satisfaction in Pakistan that India's attempts to isolate Pakistan by promoting rapprochement with China has not worked. And so, as I said, there is a sense of satisfaction in Pakistan. But of course, India has retaliated. And I think what it wants to show through this diplomatic spat is that India is no pushover, whatever Pakistan or others may say about India having been humiliated at the hands of China during these clashes last week.
Yes, and Pakistan's foreign minister has weighed in, saying, of course, it's India's attempt to distract from the border dispute. Now, that is not necessarily a very credible explanation, given India has been standing up to China and trying to sort of assert itself more.
Absolutely, absolutely, and this charge has been repeatedly made by Pakistan that these latest attempts by India are not just an attempt to distract attention overall from India's sort of hegemonic intentions in the region, but also to divert attention away from what Pakistan sees is India's humiliation at the hands of China. But do remember that, on the Pakistani side, Pakistan too seeks to divert attention. I mean, its handling of the COVID crisis has come into wide-scale criticism, both at home and abroad. And many have accused the government of using this opportunity, as well as repeatedly raising what it calls its false, the threat of a false flag operation. In other words, a manufactured operation by India to launch an attack against Pakistan as a means of diverting attention away from the government's poor handling of the COVID crisis. So, really, I think what we need to take away from this is that much of this crisis that we see, serious though it may be, is really primarily designed for a domestic audience.
And I'd love to just finally ask you, India has been reaching out to Australia to become more of a regional player and a regional partner to try and combat China's rise. And it's fascinating the way you position Pakistan in that piece. How critical do you think it might be that Australia does align itself with India?
Well, it's obviously going to increase the momentum in that direction. I mean, we've already seen that relations between Australia and China have deteriorated sharply, and I think one fallout from the clashes between India and China is the possibility of India drawing closer to the Western alliance, particularly the United States and possibly even Australia. Whereas previously it was thought that, India was trying to sort of avoid that kind of a scenario by seeking rapprochement with China.
Really good to talk. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.